Okay everyone, so recently, by recently I mean last night, I saw a little video pop up on YouTube. Now I didn't quite catch the channel's name or the guy's name, but essentially there was a man who was trying to talk about ADHD. But the first thing that he said really kind of threw me for a loop, because he said that he's under the impression that ADHD is a completely false and fabricated diagnosis made up by the NHS. And part of his reasoning behind that in the video was that the list of psychological issues and neurological issues, the official list, the name of it escapes my mind right now, is growing all the time. Now, first off, I just want to say ADHD is not a fabricated diagnosis, okay? And part of what he was insinuating as well was he was under the impression that the characteristics and the symptoms of ADHD are just essentially characteristics of that person alone, and then they've taken the similarities between person to person and gone, oh look, it's a diagnosis. But no, that's not it, because researchers and doctors and scientists and so on have actually taken a look at the difference between an ADHD brain and the brain of someone who's neurotypical, someone who doesn't have ADHD. And due to the balance in enzymes and the release of enzymes in the brain, and the chemical imbalances in the brain compared to someone who doesn't have ADHD, our brains actually show up a different colour, not the whole brain. So the areas that are affected by ADHD turn up a different colour on the scans. And that's to do with the imbalances. But also, the point is, with ADHD is, even if two or more people with ADHD present a little differently, they have common ground, they have similar issues or similar challenges, and they can understand each other when they talk about it. But perhaps, say, one is more hyperactive than the other, or one of them, their biggest issue is their attention span, or one of them is more forgetful. All these different characteristics are all still present in ADHD. The thing is, if you have ADHD and someone else has ADHD, you're not going to be exactly the same. Because it's kind of like with the autism when there's a spectrum. It's like what makes you have ADHD, or part of the evidence that you have ADHD, is that it's the same parts of the brain that are affected, sorry. It's the same parts of the brain that are affected in every individual with ADHD. It's just the characteristics and symptoms differ depending on the individual, and sometimes those can get influenced by their nurturing situation, by their home environment, by their societal environment in general. Say if part of your upbringing, there comes a time where you feel very, very pressured into being more aware of yourself than, say, most other kids have to be. Perhaps you grew up in a really rough neighborhood, in a rough area. Then despite having attention deficit and difficulties with your attention span and such, or your ability to focus on things, you're probably going to develop methods much faster to help manage it, almost disguise it to the point that it seemingly doesn't affect you at all. It still has an effect on you, it's just it's not so obvious because you've worked on that, because you've had to. Now, that's the thing, that those kinds of situations and environments can affect the symptoms and the characteristics in every individual based on your daily life. So, and it's like I am always bursting with energy. Like inside it feels like a bomb's about to go off, especially when something I'm really interested in comes in. And that's when my hyperactivity is coming. I feel highly stimulated, I get very, very talkative, and I can't contain myself. I need to talk about it, I need people's attention, that kind of thing. But having grown up and being bullied when I was younger for the things I like, I kind of developed this, and also because I'm an older sister, developed this level of ability to mask that, to disguise it and subdue it a little bit. Let it out in moments where I feel like it should be let out, like if I'm going to a party, or if I'm going to somewhere really fun, or I'm on holiday, then let it out, enjoy it to the utmost, let myself be hyperactive. But if it's a situation, like if it were a job interview, if I was in class, in my lectures, or if I was in a position where I had to take care of my brothers, then I subdue it because I need to be mature, I need to be put together, I cannot be bouncing off the walls and distracted. So that's what I mean, those things get affected. And essentially the whole thing about that person's video is that I forget sometimes that some people are under the impression that they're completely fabricated diagnoses, but they are not. That is why they become such an issue for people to go through. And the reason why the list is getting bigger is because they're still not completely understood. And all the time, more psychological or psychiatric, whichever word you want to use, or neurological disabilities or issues or characteristics and symptoms of already existing ones are being discovered or understood or dissected. For instance, a while ago, I was under the impression not only really attention hyperactivity were part of ADHD, because that's what it's called. It's called attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, so I thought that's all it was. But there's lots of little nuances to do with it, and to do with the imbalances in the brain. And same with autism. Some people, it's like with stimming, some people rock when they want to stim with autism, but rock back and forth. Other people just tap their knees. Some people don't really stim at all. So it's different from person to person, but the same areas of the brain are affected. And because of that, that's the evidence that they are actual diagnoses that people struggle with. Some people more than others, but all in all, it still needs awareness. So that's why I just thought I should make this video about today, because that was a very recent thing on my mind and it seemed relevant. Anyway, if you liked the video and you want to see more, then please follow me on TikTok. Otherwise, leave a like. Comments, put questions in the comments, request future videos if you have any thoughts and opinions, if you feel comfortable enough to do so. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're interested, and repost the video, because again, it helps raise awareness. And also, not gonna lie, like I've said in videos before, I kind of like it when I see my videos reposted. It gives me an idea that people are enjoying it and it's good for the channel. So there we are. Anyway, besides that, I hope you have a great day. Hope I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye!